Yeah, so Jahid, I guess people don't need much of your introduction. But in any case, I think for the benefit of all, if you could just quickly introduce yourself, I think that would be
So,
amazing.
hi guys, I'm Zahid. I head marketing, digital marketing with HDFC Bank. I've been there for around 8 years. Yeah, and anything to do with digital in HDFC, I'm there somewhere, either actively participating or influencing. And love to be an evangelist in the digital world outside also. So, been across a lot of panels. And yeah, let's see what we can derive out today in a short conversation. I think I'm the only one between their dinner or drinks, right? Yeah, okay.
No, I think there are a couple of more panels that they have designed, but still, yes, we are one of the friction before the cocktail begins. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a big fan of Jahid and STFC marketing campaigns, especially Vigilante, the one that I keep following on Instagram. Right? How many of you have seen any stories or reels from Vigilante in your WhatsApp or on your Instagram? Quite a few, but I guess you have to do a lot more work to promote. Yeah. Anyway, so and as cool as Jahid looks, his marketing campaigns are equally cool, I believe. And um, I actually wanted to um, listen to some of the stories of recent innovative campaigns that you have attempted for STFC. I think it will be a good entertaining as well as learning for us to hear those stories of how those innovative campaigns were planned, what was the objective, and how did you execute it, what was the outcome. If you can share one or two, the most innovative campaigns that you have done recently.
Uh, stories as in behind the scenes stories.
पूरी story सुनाइए sir, कोई
No,
tension नहीं
I
है.
think when we are looking at innovation, be it tools or be it campaigns, okay, we obviously focus on outcome, right? And the outcome can be on any spectrum. Need not be always, let's say, acquisition-led outcome. It can be, so we follow the IDA model strictly. Okay, if it's impacting our awareness, now the awareness cannot be restricted to a BLS score. Those are very superficial. That's what we also believe in. Okay, it has to hardcore give us some kind of a core metrics, either in terms of organic search query growth, leading to organic traffic, not total traffic. Okay, so if it's growing organically, that means the real impact is being seen. Okay, or there is some meaningful engagement, and the engagement has to do with either a substantial inquiries. I'm not talking about leads per se. Inquiries can be anywhere, any kind of bots coming in, engaging with the bots that we have. Okay, or it's leading to people consuming content of ours. So like, let's say we have a blog, and we have around 1.2 million people consuming the blog on a monthly basis organically. So if we are doing something on social, where, let's say, I don't know if you guys have read about the recent development in fintech, that is UPI. You don't need a debit card to withdraw cash from ATM. You can actually withdraw cash based on your UPI app. Okay, and that's the latest thing that's coming up. Okay, now the whole thing is, how can we talk about it, entice people, okay, and then consume content, right? So, and that helps us get stickiness, because if we are the leader in the fintech, in the finance world, because now after the merger, we are globally 7th largest. So we are trying to take the position of, how we can be, anything to do with money. Okay, we should be the one who is talking first, after maybe the PR. So otherwise, why should a Sharan be there, who's just a McKinsey guy, or CA Rachna Ranade, who is getting volumes of audience? Okay, they're great, but why shouldn't the most trusted partners should also talk about it, right? So what we are trying to follow is hardcore metrics, and what is the purpose for the brand to do over there. So if there is a purpose-driven activity or an acquisition activity, is where we try to kind of hover along. If it is coming to tools, how is the tool helping us to do either of these us, right? So like, let's say we have got a lot of generative AI now. Okay, again, if it's purpose-driven, like if you have to focus on empathy, we have a team of 170,000 pan-India. Everybody has to talk to the consumers, right? How can you templatize the conversation zone? How do you know that when a sales guy is talking to a consumer, the tone and the consumer's response is irate, or he's actually, or he or she is actually, receptive about the whole conversation. Now that's where we have got a lot of voice-led, heat map, which is actually prompting to the telecaller or to the RMs that this is the conversation is going to the right direction. Okay. Also, like let's say, how can there be a templatized version where what to talk can be easily communicated to anybody, be a 40,000 rupees sales guy to a private PBG guy who can be talking or needs some immediate quick information about a product, because the questions can be asked from any circumference, right? So we are trying to templatize things. So again, so if you come back to see that there is a core purpose. The purpose is either it's a brand purpose, helping people make sense of money. So if I'm getting a tool, if the tool is directly, indirectly helping me to do that, serve that, we engage with the tool. If it's a campaign, if the campaign is helping me to engage in that zone where it's standing for a brand pillar, we do that. Okay, or if it's hardcore acquisition. So that's why we hover around, okay, and the metrics are accordingly done.
Yeah, no, I really like the fact that you're not just thinking of positioning your brand, but rather you're thinking of a larger good of financial literacy, so to say, because I believe how HDFC is already a household name. However, that initiatives to make people aware about the new developments, like the UBI app you mentioned, or in fact, there's a new one, UPI via credit card, right? So I think that is the thought process which various brands actually lack, I believe. Maybe you're in a position to do it. However, yeah, so this is something really cool about HDFC that I really like. Vigilante is another example wherein you are actually making people aware about various financial frauds, right? So that's a great stuff. However, Jahid, while you mentioned about your thought process of strictly following the IDA model and using your army of, relationship persons who are out there in the market on ground, I'm still curious, your team must be coming up with various ideas to you, or your agency folks or your partners must be coming up with various ideas to you. How do you select which is an outstanding idea and which is a good to have idea, right? Which are the red flags? How do you eliminate ideas? And which are the green flags to actually, which is worth considering? I think knowing that thought process would eventually help the audience in filtering those ideas at their end before actually taking it to marketeers like yourself.
Yeah, so I think a part of my career is to meet lots of publishers, to listen them out. Given that the fintech growth, and I think today only we are expecting a 190 billion fintech growth from this country. Okay, so the kind of meetings that we do, okay, be it the startup incubators, okay, or from the publisher side, is phenomenal. Now what happens is, how do we make sense of it? It's like pretty much how do we bring method into this madness of pitches, right? Okay, so that's why we stick to our core, right? Be it tools or be it campaigns that's getting presented. Okay, what happens is generally when people come and present, okay, it's all about we have this and this will do a great to the brand. How, right? So first is how is very important for us to understand. Okay, is it aligned with our purpose of the brand, right? It can be a quirky brand, it can be a very quirky idea. Am I open to quirky ideas, right? So it has to be, first of all, aligned with the whole purpose of the brand. Second, what's the matrix that it's going to impact? Okay, if it's a meaningful impact, okay, and something that we always shy away from is that BLS mein itna lift de denge. Okay, that doesn't help us. Okay, so it has to be very meaningful matrix that's impactful, right? The last part is amount of work required to develop or to integrate that whole tool, if it's a tool. Okay, so from a campaign point of view, obviously there's no integration, but if it's a tool that's coming in, is it in cloud? Will it be a hybrid model? Will it be on-prem? Okay, so the amount of the impact required to integrate vis-a-vis the impact that it will show overall. Okay, that's how we have to define, right? So these are all the things that we kind of do to evaluate the benefits that either it's a campaign or it's a tool. How do we, how does it help us, right? And from a campaign point of view, I was telling you, right, a lot of pitches coming in, let's do this, let's say there'll be a Mother's Day coming in, there's a Teacher's Day coming in. We have a video, teacher coming in, student there, there's that, okay. I said, so what? Like the whole world is now kind of clustered with videos. Are you really watching it? If I watch it, so what? So after that, so what? What is the actionable? Like today, videos also, people will just present a script, okay? What is the action that the video is ending with? How is that action aligned with the brand thought process, right? And if I see that, what is the takeaway that I do, not from the video, but from HDFC Bank's purpose point of view? Okay, we have to align on all those things before us to really consider that this campaign is good for us or not good for us.
Got it. So align with the purpose of the brand. Then the second thing you mentioned was probably define the impact, where exactly it is impacting which part of the funnel, and the effort that it requires to execute the idea. I guess these are the three main points we should
What's the
consider,
action
right?
that you're trying to derive out of it?
What's the action, the final action that you expect from the audience, right? Got it. Great. I believe, especially during festive season, whenever there is an event, or even during IPL or cricket season, or during specific events like 15th August and things like those, every brand tries to do something, right? Every brand is attempting some sort of campaign during those days. It's a crowded sort of, days when audience is also, their mind space is also crowded with so many brands trying to lure them during those times. How do you, what's your thought process around standing out amongst that crowd? And probably innovation is one of the key factors which would make someone stand out. However, I would love to listen to you, given the festive season ahead. What's your plan for it? How do you want to stand out amongst various, let's say, banking companies or fintech companies who would be luring the customers?
Okay, so you are questioning a lot of things, you know. You're questioning salaries of the marketeers, okay, and because they have to justify their job, okay. So the thing is that, see, it's a cluttered world, but at the end of the day, it also pays, okay. And that's where people need to understand what we try to say, context to the platform, right? The biggest challenge is, I don't know about the background to the person, people who are sitting out over here, but today what's happening is the offline team, when they have to, let's say, predominantly the budget, let's say not every time maybe the campaign is having equal budget across ATL and digital, okay. So if it's a digital heavy campaign, the inventories that are getting made, okay, maybe most of the time, because it's made by the brand team, they're getting shot by the brand team. And that's still, and that's what the most unfortunate part, still getting shot for the offline medium, rendered for digital medium. Okay, right. Now that's the biggest dissonance that we are facing, okay, and I don't know, if people have actually grown out of it, that's great for those brands, okay, but for all of the brands who are still in the same zone, I think that's something that we really have to break that clutter, because if it's digital first, okay, then, and if it's digital heavy, then it has to be digital first, and within digital first also, each platform has its own nuance, right? So how are you thinking to each of this platform and then making it as per the platform is what actually will help you to break the clutter. Otherwise, it will be, and then we use a lot of BE principles, at least 7 of them, so that, you know, each of the communication that's going, either it's priming you or it's giving you, you know, the whole factor of scarcity, right? Or we are giving you a social trust. Okay, so we use a lot of them, and the whole aspect of lesser content and more visuals as when where required. Kind of just broadly cover it.
That analogy actually reminds me of times when smartphone was growing exponentially, and in the consumer tech world, our world, when we are building applications and services for the consumer through mobile app, we also used to have a website. And then our investors started coming to us and asking us, "Your website ban kar do." Start thinking mobile first, right? And the only way you will start thinking mobile first is by shutting down the website. And I believe at one point of time, Flipkart also shut their website.
Myntra did.
Myntra did, right? Okay.
Myntra was mobile first,
Yeah.
app first, but
Yeah,
then
eventually they got back
to get
because
back.
they were
we
losing a
cannot
lot of
ignore.
traffic.
Yeah, we cannot ignore. But the mindset is
Yes, the
mobile
minds,
first.
but at least they forced their team to actually think mobile first. Um, and it served like a catalyst. I guess it's a similar kind of phase that marketers are going through because they are used to thinking offline, and now they are force-fitting those ideas into digital, while digital has its own charm, its own dynamics, its own equation that they need to take care of.
The advantage of digital is also its disadvantage. Okay, now advantage of digital is what? Personalization. But personalization takes away impact. Personalization is more closer to nudge, right? Why a hoarding or a TV holds still true, or a newspaper ad? Because that one ad, now see, there are 3 success parameters. You might say top of the funnel, TOMA, you might say acquisition, but the third most important is stakeholder management. If the stakeholders sitting out over there ask each other, or maybe somebody from, let's say, a branch guy in Kashmir, that did you guys see the ad? Okay, and if they say yes, that means your campaign is successful. And take it from me, it's across all organizations. Okay, so stakeholder management is only possible when there's an impact campaign. When you roll out a mail, global mail, look at our TV spots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or look at today's newspaper ad. Even the newspapers are bought and put into offices. Can you do that with digital? Okay, so what happens is, forget about a couple of those interstitials and all. They don't even come, because by the time the impressions are served, we've actually gone ahead. Okay, so what happens is, impact versus personalization is a great conversation now. So if you are creating personalization, okay, how are you creating personalization to scale up, and then to be seen, and then to be understood, and then in engagement to whatever desired metrics is what the question is, which takes away the whole impact from digital. But that's where the digital guys have to kind of create inventories to create that impact, not in terms of viewability. Viewability impact is not possible in digital, but then the quality of the ad has to be so good that then the engagement has to be high.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I always used to tell my team that, impact in digital is not really a bigger screen, interstitial ads, or a bigger screen is not the impact. The impact is the kind of deeper engagement that you are able to create with the end consumer, and the virality that you can achieve out of it. Because one of the beauty of digital is not just personalization, but also virality, which was missing in the offline world. Probably there was word of mouth, of course, but then it was not that easy to make things viral, right? Compared to what is
viral is quite an abused word, believe me. Okay, okay. So, but yeah, what we try to play is with subconscious mind. Okay, so what people are very irrational, though we think we are rational. Okay, we think we are actually thinking of making a decision. Okay, like if you say that, let's say you have gone to buy a car, second-hand car. Okay, there is a guy who has come shabbily dressed, and there's a guy who has come very neatly dressed. The guy who has come out with the shabbily dressed, okay, his coat may be a 10 to 20,000 lesser than the guy who has come out very neatly dressed. From whom will you buy the car? Given all other parameters are same, let's say, car, the quality, everything is same.
Well, it depends on who is giving me more trusted
and the trust
communication. Yeah.
And the trust comes from the look and feel of it. Okay, and it's not a rational call. Because
to some extent, not just look and feel, but I would say the personality and the communication and the way they engage you.
Right. Because but the factor is, I'm not there to buy that guy. I'm there to buy that car.
Yeah.
But what happens is, as an individual, my knowledge about car is not that much. But the way we have grown up is groomed people are supposed to be better in the society. So the biasness towards buying that car is not actually because of the car, but because the way I'm interacting and whom I'm interacting with. So these are personal biases which form, and that's because pretty much the way we have been groomed, the society biases and everything kind of forms in, right? So what's happening is we try to play, and it's all in the subconscious. If I ask you, why did you buy that car? You will find 101 reason to justify why did you buy that car. You will never say that it was shabbily dressed versus neatly dressed. But that's all in the subconscious mind. So be it color, be it the communication, be it whom are you trying to address. So today when we actually personalize 7 to 8 elements on a creative dynamically, okay, starting from, so we'll never say, hi Ankit, that's creepy. But starting from your passion point, so the background will change based on your passion point, to the handset that will be shown to you, to the offer that will be shown to you. The amount is personalized because I know, let's say, your parity versus somebody else's parity. So all the other nuances in a creative gets personalized, and that what helps us get a better engagement. So that's how we're trying to do, yeah.
Great, amazing. In the digital world, I believe when we are attempting an innovation, there is always some role, in fact, a very crucial role that data plays, that content plays, and the context plays, right? Like the example that you just took about personalization and 7 different points that you actually personalize. Could you tell more about how you use data, how you leverage data, how you leverage content, and how you leverage the context to come up with innovative digital campaigns?
Briefly touched. Okay, so our data is pretty much the heart of all our campaigns. Okay, we, being at bank, we have an ocean of data, right? So we first use data to understand and identify whom to give what kind of offer. There's a reason as to why we have the least NPAs in the industry today. That's because though business is important, but we are very critical of the fact as to whom to give the offer to. So first is identifying what amount is the offer. So everybody's offer amount is different. Okay. Second, then we do a propensity modeling to understand. So let's say there are 100 people. All 100 of them have an offer. But what is the propensity out of those 100 that they will be willing to buy a product this month? Out of those 100, let's say 30 people, we are kind of identifying the propensity to buy those model. And that's data modeling that's going on. On top of that, there is something called next best action. Like let's say loans, there are multiple type of loans. There is a personal loan, there is a gold loan, there is a loan on home loan. Okay, so there are multiple type of loans. What is the propensity that which type of loan you might want to take from us? And then out of all this data, these are pretty static, right? Because these are hard-coded and made from a modeling point of view. On top of this, we have a CDP integration. Now let's say Ankit is there, and against Ankit I have, okay, Ankit's offer amount, Ankit's loan propensity, that this is the product that he wants to say, but for all you know, Ankit actually came to the auto loan section and looking for an auto. Real-time signal goes in and changes in my offer propensity that look for an auto, and this is the kind of stuff, so my creative changes. So then when you come, so actually the website, not the content, but the banner sections on the website is 99% different for everybody who comes in. Identified base, okay. So if you have come for the first time, that will be the hard-coded offer that will be shown to you. But since now you have gone to auto, and the next time you come in, all the banner changes. And now you'll be seeing auto-led offer, and the car will be based on your parity. So if we understand that you have a hatchback, the next will be a sedan shown to you. If you understand your life stage pattern, I'll be showing you either a family or with your girlfriend. And the surround sound, if I understand that you have been spending a lot across, let's say, hill stations or beaches, I'll try to create a surround sound which is more towards your love for a drive, instead of showing just a car with a family out over there. So for spinsters, we'll show, with bunch of friends out over there. So that's how we're trying to personalize each and every element, and again, subconsciously, nothing to do with creepy out over there, yeah.
It's brilliant how marketers play with our minds, using the data and the creative and the context, and how beautifully you took an example of how it happens in your website, and that's great. Jahid, I will go back to the first question because I think it was not addressed fully. I would love to hear a story of one of the recent innovation that you have done at HDFC. It could be anything, if you could just describe it in little detail, how you did it.
Should we talk about Vigilante, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting.
So you guys might not have heard, but
ये idea कैसे आया? कहाँ से आया ये idea?
Cool.
कैसे उसको आपने फिर उसको?
Sure. So I think everybody must have seen Jamtara, everybody must have seen the NDTV document that has come recently on the amount of fraud that's happening. And the biggest deterrent today for a digital economy, I don't know if you guys know about it, if India is aiming at a 3 trillion economy, the digital economy is going to be 1 trillion. The only biggest deterrent today for people to come on digital is the fraud that's happening. And the fraud is nothing to do with hack. The fraud is nothing to do with hacking into banking accounts. The fraud is they're just playing with your mind because of 3 reasons: greed, fear, or incentivization, right? So what's happening is, so we were realizing that a lot of brands were doing multiple campaigns, but very sporadic. Like ICICI Bank came up with a taboo campaign. That's it, done. WhatsApp came with a campaign. So people come up in a burst, 2 to 3 videos, and that's done and dusted, right? So that's why we thought there has to be, and these fraudsters change their tactics, okay, every week almost. So if KBC is coming, there is a KBC fraud. Okay, they will start calling you that, want to participate in KBC, here is the thing, UPI, that's it. If you're going to OLX, there is a OLX fraud. And I don't know, any guys have faced fraud? Hopefully not, or relatives. Have you heard of you guys fraud? Any one of you? I hope you guys are aware that fraud is happening in the world. Yeah, thank God. Okay, great. So yeah, awareness is the first step towards realization. Perfect. So what's happening is you go to OLX, you want to sell a watch. The first reply that you will get, be rest assured that's from a fraud guy. Because the urgency, he will never negotiate with you. He will show the urgency that I've started to come and buy that watch from you. And then he will say, I have sent a QR code, just send me 2 rupees or 1 rupee. The realization is, why should I send amount to you? Okay, and that's, and the way they will talk about it in the greed that, okay, I'm getting a seller, he's not even negotiated. Oh, great. Oh, let me send 2 rupees, and that's it, it's gone. Okay. So what's happening is, and so KBC, now recently electricity bill fraud was there. So multiple, these guys, in fact, I was talking to my CMO, he's saying, yeah, I need to recruit these people. Because they are thinking faster than the whole world. Okay. So what's happening is, the whole idea is, how do we talk to the world on a constant basis? How do we keep them apprised? Because doing a video once in a while will not help. Okay, that's why we thought, so where are people listening to? That's the whole fact where we tried to create our own influencer. Okay, and we have tried to create an influencer not from HDFC Bank. It's a pretty much an individual by herself. So that's the individual talking about it. That's why we thought of, okay, and then how do we create it? We thought, okay, there is a uncle or an auntie who is a vigilante. Okay, vigilante, pretty much every society. There's someone who loves to talk about the society, who knows everything in the society, and wants to talk about it, okay, to anybody that he or she meets.
ये वही आंटी है जो पुलिस बुला लेती है.
ये वही आंटी है जो पुलिस बुला लेती है. And that's where the whole name came in, and that's where the whole thought process came in. And I think we got 2 million fans to this influencer in like 3 months. We took a backseat after that to see what's next, and hopefully next month onwards, I promise to this entire audience, you'll be again seeing who Vigilante is. Yeah. Really nice. We roped in Anu Menon. I don't know if you guys have Anu Menon as the Vigilante, I think, and the quirkiness that she brings into the whole fact is phenomenal. Yeah.
Amazing. In fact, many a times when we meet various marketeers or agencies, we get to hear that we want to do innovation because we want to win an award. How is, and this is one of the innovations wherein I saw that it went on for quite some time. It did create a great impact. What is, I just want to understand from brand perspective, when you look at innovation, do you aspire to scale it up at some point of time with the expectation that this innovation, if it's successful, it should be consuming most of my budget? Right? Instead of me spending on the thing that I've already been spending on, I'm looking for a new opportunity where I can spend more budget, right? But then the reality is today innovation is being done only for awards, right? And many a times it is a deterrent to the innovation actually, because it was not given enough budget and opportunity to actually to be executed at scale.
The way we will break it up is 10% for experiment. Let's take it as experiment and not innovation. Okay, so 10% for experiment. If that experiment is working, okay, and one of the key parameters as to why we experiment is it scalable or not? Okay, and that's where we that's one of the basic premise as to why we should do it. right? So if it is working, okay, yes, we then kind of go ahead and see how it's scalable or not. But yeah, will it be a mainstream? I doubt, because other mainstreams are surviving and thriving, right? So will that become a mainstream or not? I don't know. That has to really prove that this channel, like let's say, today, today the partners, like let's say the DMP plus DSP combination is actually eating away into the budgets of Google and Meta, right? The programmatic of world. Now, this was obviously a very small experimentation that people had started. People started with an Amazon, people started with a PhonePe, people started with a PayU, all as data partners. But slowly they are coming on eating at least 25-30% of the budgets. So to answer your question, yes, if it's scalable and if it's showing results, then it will eat away to the mainstream also.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, so scalability is the main question that needs to be answered with that experimental budget. And if it is scalable, then why not? Right, amazing. So Jahid, I'll probably end with one last piece of advice from you for the young marketeers, for the young janta here, right? You know, how do people approach somebody like you in order to get a deal, right? As simple as that. I mean, it should be time saving for both you as well as you know, people like us. When we approach, we should not be, we should be very precise about things that you actually want, things that you actually need. That's your necessity, right? And in order to do that, we need to understand your thought process, how your team thinks. So I guess, you know, just to end the conversation with one piece of advice that we must do before coming to you.
So I think if it's coming to me, it's a cup of coffee. Okay. But yeah, if it's coming for HDFC Bank, try to understand the bank. Try to understand what are the key things that's gonna get this bank moving. A lot of times I've seen messages coming with the previous organization where the proposal was pitched. People have not even bothered to change their names. Okay. You know, one idea does not fit all, and gone are those days. So if you are trying to understand, you know, do some homework at least to understand what is this bank trying to do. In the past campaigns, what have they tried to do? Okay, and then kind of work out something which is really meaningful to you. Okay, and I think that's what attracts the most. And then when you're pitching it to us, if you can show that meaningful result, what it will derive to us, okay, that really gets my attention. Yeah.
Cool. Is there any question that maybe we can take from audience, if there is anything? Or else, yeah, I think yeah, sure. Yeah, you are audible. It's a small closed door event anyway. Okay. So.
Hi. So I would want to understand from you your take on influencer marketing, like how, for example, the current campaign you spoke about. So how you are looking at maybe executing, and what are the metrics, maybe key metric that you look at? Because I think most of the marketeers, it is still a gray area. So what is your take on it?
Okay, so keep aside the fact that we are trying to create our own influencers. In fact, I think one of the cool ideas will be if the brands can create their own influencers. How can you invest in your own influencers instead of investing money in a lot of other influencers, and then it's a constant outflow of money without growing your own. I don't know if I can reveal it, but yes, we have a 1.70 base. So one key aspect is trying to understand is how can I create my own advocates? If they are, okay, I have a meaningful army, okay, which is significant. But otherwise, when I'm talking about other influencers, today, first is we are trying to invest in a tool. The tool which helps us to create a benchmark. Otherwise, what happens is, my previous campaigns to this next campaign, there is no benchmark. Okay, we must have had a presentation which after one activity must have got presented to us. But if the teams have changed, if the agencies have changed, and the team members of the agencies have changed, I don't think anybody refers to what happened last time, the learnings of the last time, and the engagement metrics of the last time. Everything has got forgotten, right? So we start fresh every time. So I think there are very interesting tools, at least 2-3 of them, that's kind of got up in the market, where everything is getting captured out over there. Real-time reporting is there. Otherwise, the reporting has to be weighted for the efficiency on the basis on the efficiency of the agencies. So this is real-time reporting. We can see what's working, what's not working. We are actually also evaluating, first of all, while selecting the agencies, what are the brands they have worked for, the do's, the don'ts, they have got negative, what kind of comments they had received while these activities were going on, or otherwise also generally. So they are in the positive frame, negative frame today with the troll aspect that's going on. And then finally, when we are kind of done and dusted, okay, the benchmark that's got set, be it in terms of cost, the report, that's all in the tool which helps us to go to the next level. Okay. The other aspect is creatives buying the media rights of the influencers, because what we're realizing slowly is in Meta, the basic creatives don't work anymore. What's really working is if you're buying the rights of the media of the influencers and make them work on the creative, that's helping great in terms of TOMA as well as actual downloads. So let's say you make a carousel or you make those breakable ads, vis-a-vis when you're taking an influencer and that he or she is talking about the product and you have the call to action, that's working significantly. So that's a good extension of influencer marketing that's working. And believe me, nano influencers are actually a great if you have a, if you want to kind of really grow organically, yeah.
In fact, creating your own influencers have become even easier with generative AI. I'm not sure how impactful that is. I guess it's not proven yet, not much tried. But creating an influencer, influencing figure through generative AI.
That's too rigid. It's pretty understood. As of now, it's not agile enough to kind of be that kind of human being who can. So I know a couple of news partners have done it, but it's it's very static.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure about the impact of it as of today.
But if you want to create a face for your brand, okay, you can use that. Okay, otherwise it cannot be an influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jahid, I think we can wrap up now to the next session. And thank you so much for this candid conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ankit and Mr. Jahid, for an insightful session.